If you were to ask someone from the Kingdom Hearts fandom who their favorite organization member is, most would probably say one of the Days Trio. And then there's that one weird friend who would probably say Lexius. But for today only, we'll be looking at the eldest of the Clock Tower kids, Axel. We'll all be going over his young life to now because I think his own designs tell an important story on how he feels where he's at in his life. It's a really great just visual storytelling. However, before we begin, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when a new upload goes live. Also, YouTube changed how view works, so if you could, please just like and comment if you want to be counted as a view. It helps push this channel out. I hate YouTube. This is just how it works now. Unless they changed it while I'm working on this, I hate YouTube. Let me know in the comments on which version of Axel is your favorite. Is it Lee from Birth by Sleep, Axel from Chain of Memories, or Lee/Axel from Dream Drop, aka his current version? And might as well get this out of the way now. You can join my memberships for a low price of $1 to become a part of the union to get exclusives like using emotes or videos early. You don't need to, of course, just trying something new by getting the ads out of the way now. We don't know much about when he was a kid, however, during the events of Birth by Sleep, Ventus, while moping about his friendships with Aqua and Terra, runs into Lee, who is with Isa, and we kinda get to see what he's like. He teases Ventus for his wooden keyblade before showing his own weapons, that being frisbees with this fire design on them. It looks kinda cool. I really like the face on them. Those weapons, along with his outfit, already show what kind of kid he is if it wasn't obvious. Lee, as a teenager, is just outgoing and friendly, who likes to mess around. He has this warm design about him with his orange jacket and shoes, the yellow scarf, and his red hair giving off this autumn vibe. His hair resembles that of fire, which tells us of his fiery persona, and his cocky face showing that he's ready to take on anyone. Which he does with Ventus. After teasing him, he challenges Ven to a fight, in which case Ven wins. But instead of actually getting upset, Isa joins in on the joking, and it's just really clear how close these two are. Though they all promise to meet again now that they're friends, and he tells Ven to.
Get it memorized.
Lee at a young age saw a sad kid around his own age, and he had his own way to lift his spirits. However, Isaac clues in that this wasn't the only time Lee has done this because he keeps picking up strays, as he puts it. Lee claims it's because he wants everyone to remember him so he can live on forever in the memories of everyone, as they head to the castle in Radiant Garden. For a while, we never knew why they wanted to sneak into the castle, but the secret reports in Kingdom Hearts 3 have stated that this was because of the experiments going on there by Ansem the Wise. Screams could be heard throughout the walls, so they just vowed to basically go in there and investigate. After finally succeeding to break in, they found a young girl around the age of 15 in the basement. We don't know her name as of now, but Ansem and his researchers all call her Subject X. I won't fully go into who that was, as my last video is about her history and what we know. You can check it out here in the top right or in the description. But something important to keep in mind is that she has no memories of who she was outside of bits and pieces, her name not being one of them. Overall, they all became closer until one day a man with an eye patch took her away. I think I said this took place before Birth by Sleep, but I might be wrong in that this actually happens after the events with them meeting Ventus. Either way, this is important history for the two boys, as this becomes their motivation going forward. After Subject X's disappearance, they all become a part of Ansem the Wise apprentices. However, only after a bit of time had passed when Xehanort, who was now in the body of Terra, regained all his memories, and he made everyone, including Lee, into nobodies and heartless as their own hearts were removed, and eventually they formed Organization 13. Once he's in the organization, he and Psyx rises through the ranks, getting higher and higher just to search for their missing friend. After years go by and their memories increase one by one, a new nobody shows up as Axel is tasked with helping him getting used to everything for the first week. This was, of course, Roxas, and while Roxas doesn't remember his first week, Axel does get him some sea salt ice cream, which, looking back, is the perfect representation for the Days Trio. Often the ice cream gets called sweet yet salty, and with Axel, Roxas, and Xion here, they start off sweet, but things start to get salty later on. However, this dairy treat could relate to Axel in a way as well. Taking a look at his design, it lasts until a dream job, but he's wearing the coat, his hair's longer and now it's down, and he's rocking these upside down tear tattoos under his eyes. If we were to believe his old hairstyle was to show off his fiery personality, then this longer version can show that he still can have that passion, but is more laid back. What's really interesting is the tattoos. According to a quick Google search with no real deep look into it, tear tattoos under one's eye could show how a person is in a gang or in prison. These upside down variants are a way to show that Axel just doesn't want any part of the organization and wishes to be free. It's even stated in 358 that he has ulterior motives in general. He also has upgraded weapons. Instead of frisbees, he now uses chakrams. He uses them both as a melee weapon and projectile weapon, and even sometimes enhances the strength of them with his fire abilities. They're known as Eternal Flames because Axel really wants to be remembered by everyone, but also because he's the type of person whose flame never really dies out, no matter how much rain pours on it. And this is why we all love him. With how Axel handles Roxas and Xion in this, it comes off like an older brother type. He has fun, buys them ice cream, and has a gentle approach with them, showing that he has matured from being a kid and birthed by sleep. And as the days goes on, he's usually stuck with the icky jobs. First, he and Sayak start to split away from each other. Next, no matter how hard he tries to protect Roxas and Xion from the truth, they just always dig for more, and in the end, he has to stay loyal to the group that basically forced him to where he's at. This also requires him to kill others who are deemed as traitors to Organization 13. Granted, the only one who kills is Vexen to lie to Marluxia, though he does use the Riku replica to get rid of My Chemical Romance for knowing too much. Despite us only seeing these two, he's still known as the assassin. Knowing how Lee is though, it must hurt, even if at first he doesn't have a heart. Since Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Axel's the first piece of evidence that nobodies can have their heart grow back. He grabs his chest because he really is starting to begin to feel, thanks to Sora. But I wouldn't be surprised if Roxas was the seed that was planted, given that he just looks so much like Ventus. And to show he isn't all bad, he allows Naminé to escape with one chance. But as he returns, he basically lives out his days with the two lost nobodies, and his voice with them is always relaxed, but of course it doesn't stay that way. Hurt by what he has to do, he has to bring back Xion, and during this is when he finally breaks from the emotions just a little bit.
What's your problem? Go on, you just keep running, but I'll always be there to bring you back!
That yell. That promise he made. Words can't describe how I feel. Then Roxas fights Xion, everyone slowly forgets her, except Roxas and Axel, who have her etched in their hearts. So she isn't truly forgotten, and Fate likes to taunt Axel in Kingdom Hearts 3 with. Axel, distressed, doesn't want Roxas to leave because they're best friends, and in the end, he's tasked with bringing back Roxas at the beginning of 2. Although he tries his best, he's pushed to the limits and has to get serious, otherwise he'd be turned into a Dusk, the weakest version of a nobody. So he does try his best, and well, it didn't work out, but he wasn't turned into a Dusk, so that's something. He does try to get Kairi, but fails with that too, as Sayax basically takes her from him. Axel tells Sora about this, and in the end, they try to reach the world that never was, but he sacrifices himself for real this time because Sora made him feel like he had a heart. Just like Roxas did. I think it's important to think back on Axel for a bit. Always spouting that nonsense of not having a heart, yet always seems to know what to feel at the right moment. Axel is a person who grows from no heart to conflicting feelings. Nowhere is that more prominent than when he finds the winter stick left by Roxas. No voice is heard, but the shot of Kingdom Hearts shining in on the scene just explains it all. We continue to see his growth within too, as he has a redemption arc, all because of his friendships with the nobody of the Keybearer. After sacrificing the portal to the world that never was, he wakes up in the castle in Radiant Garden with some of the other members here. But there's a small difference in his appearance. If you notice, he no longer has the tattoos under his eyes, symbolizing his freedom from the organization, and could also hint that he can finally emote again, being a whole person. When he wakes up, he calls out to Roxas, who was the last person he thought about before dying as Axel, but he notices that Brig and Isa aren't there anymore, so he searches the castle in hopes of finding them, but no luck. So he goes out and searches for them. Some time goes by and Disney Castle is attacked by the Team Rocket of the series. Lee comes in to save Mickey and the gang, but in return, he wants to learn how to wield a Keyblade. After reluctant Yin-Sid trains him, and he saves everyone from the real Organization 13, he's able to finally summon his Keyblade called Flame Liberator. The Flame Liberator, like most characters who earn their Keyblades, has its way of showing Lee's connections. For one thing, its flame style showing his power over fire, the fact that the handguard and the chain are at least similar to the Chakams he's been using since his Nobody days, and the fact that the Keyblade's blade is very similar to Ventus's Frolic Flame, which Ven gets after meeting Lee in Birth by Sleep. The name Flame Liberator can also explain Lee in his current state. Flame because fire, his fiery personality, stuff like that, and Liberator because he wants to set free his friends from their own torment. Another thing about Lee now is that he's closer to his Axel personality. He comes off more calm and collected, he jokes around, which we see more in Kingdom Hearts 3, but when push comes to shove, he jumps in and gets emotional and angry at those trying to harm his friends. After getting his Keyblade to finally materialize, he and Kairi train better to learn how to handle the blade. In Kingdom Hearts 3, Axel and Kairi are stuck together throughout the story. Now, I know this is because the story wants to trigger Axel's memory on Xion, but I just kind of always like that they're together. It's like Xion could be trying to communicate to Axel or his own fate, trying to make sure he never forgets her. These scenes also showed that despite their rocky past, they can always move forward together. It's kind of a sweet note on not only Kairi's personality, but Lee, who cares about everyone and only just wants to do what's best. Now that he's free, he can actually start doing that. During a meeting, we see more of his joking side in that he remembers Ven thanks to Roxas. He's surprised to hear that Ventus never forgot who Lee was. It's been over a decade at this point. Lee strikes me as the person to not let people know how he feels, but it's very obvious if you knew his personality. He probably expected Ventus to move on, but if Ven remembers who he was, then there's a good chance the original friend he was looking for, Subject X, remembers too. That should motivate him even more to continue to search for her. Sitting alone in his comfort spot holding 2 ice creams for his 2 missing friends, there's one other one that shows up to have a chat, Isa. Now, this scene feels very therapeutic for Isa specifically, or Sayax, who I think it is at this point. Instead of doing anything to harm Lee, he just sits down and talks. Talks about the past, mostly. It's like they were never splitting apart at all. And I think that's what this is trying to show us. Despite Lee's tough shell, Sayax just speaks calmly. While more soft-spoken, there are certain tones Sayax uses to show that he's actually upset. In his eyes, Lee gave up on their search for that one friend, Subject X. Of course, that wasn't the case, but Sayax tries to convince him to give up the search altogether. Though it's later confirmed that this was all a ruse for Subject X, so... In the end, Lee vows not only to bring Roxas, Xion, and X back, but Sayax as well. It takes a while, but eventually the Days Trio are able to be reunited and we see his emotions come through, finally letting them out, as this has been building up since his old friend back in Radiant Garden, I assume. I forgot to mention this earlier, but Lee can be a bit cocky as he tries to fight people way above his skill level. Like when he was taken out by Terranort, or when trying to strike Xemnas and his hand got shot through. Again, it's a perfect blend between his old self and new self. During the Battle of the Guardians, we can see how competent Lee can be despite how he was handled earlier. It isn't much, but when he does fight, we can see that he quickly switches from his Keyblades to his Chakrams. You can even see this during the Keyblade Graveyard fights, but here it's just way easier to tell. And just like the other Guardians of Light, he is quick to adapt and team up with those around him. As the game wraps up though, we see that he, Roxas, Xion, the Twilight Town Gang, and even Isa are all together. His new clothing being a simple but a good way to show that he no longer holds on to this past with the organization since he's not wearing the coat anymore. He truly is finally free, with one last mission to complete. And that's Lee's life up to this point. Tried something a bit different here where it's an actual timeline instead of just going over game to game, so I hope you enjoyed it. I might try this again going forward, depending. Let me know in the comments or share your thoughts below. I'm really curious. Did you like this or not? Personally, I think we should have gotten a playable Axel in 3, but I'll take what I can get, as Remine was perfect as is. And, like Lee says,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, yada yada yada. Thanks for getting me over 2.5k subscribers. I still haven't planned anything for my 1k, so shout out to NateDM990 for being a part of the membership. Whee! Thanks for watching. See you when I see you. May your heart be your guiding key.